Massachusetts, it's Friday night. How you doing? What's new? Gosh. So much. I can feel the vibes. I can feel people going, what was that thing in the sky? I could just feel it. And what the funny thing is, I think this is the same conversation we had last week. Right? Let me think. Or maybe that was Wednesday. Make yourselves known. Say hi to one another. I'm still getting used to my new angle. It's always good to see things from a new angle. I'm glad you're here. I'm Annette Dion, the host and founder of the Psychic News Network, among other things. And it is February 10th, 2023. The moon is in Libra. I checked. Tomorrow Venus goes into Aquarius. So I want to read you a little bit about Venus in Aquarius. I'm pretty sure I have that right. Let me double check. Venus enters Aquarius in the morning. And then the moon goes into Scorpio at around 1:30 tomorrow. Hi, Ethel. I have your bag. Let us know when they're available on eBay and I will tell everyone. Okay? This is our Friday night party. This is where we admit that we really don't have anything to do on Friday night, so we all get together. If it's Friday night where you are. It might be tomorrow where you are. It might be the wee hours of the morning. Rhonda Rue wants one. Ethel, say you're selling them already. It's a really cool bag with tarot cards on it. It's where I keep my rune stones. What do you guys want to know? I'm here to answer all your questions. So, as many as we can fit into 90 minutes. So the moon being in Libra, this is a good day. Yeah, it's a cool bag. So I want Ethel to know she's already got some sales, so, get them happening. And get in touch with me, Ethel, if you need any help with, getting that all together. I get lots of stuff on eBay. I get all my clothes on eBay. If anybody was ever wondering. Pretty much. You can't believe you're catching it live? Well, you are. It's your lucky night or your unlucky night, depending on how you look at it. Thank you. It's a spring-like day, so I thought I was, being apropos with it. Just feels like spring, even though it's February. And tomorrow is the anniversary of the blizzard of 78, which used to be a rare thing to have an extreme weather event. Is that easier than Etsy? I think it is easier than, to me it is. I think that maybe, I think eBay probably has more people that go on to buy things. Maybe eBay's been around longer. Anyway, I was just telling Ethel that she needs to get her cool bags, if you're just joining us, for sale on eBay. The balmy shores of Lake Erie. So yeah, man, we live in a time of extremes because last Friday, Saturday was the coldest temperatures I've ever felt in my life. So, and now today was like spring. I went for a walk and I was kind of too warm, if you can believe that. Let's bring our crystal ball forward. Like my new little cheap light thing. I'm just stalling a little, waiting for people to show up, but there's a lot of you here right now, so let's jump into it. The moon being in Libra is really good for relationships. If you've got something to say, just say it. You know what I'm saying. So I'm going to pick a card from the John Holland Psychic Tarot. Well-used Psychic Tarot. which is more of an oracle deck. And I'm going to read to you about Venus going into Aquarius. Because it's a much different energy than what we've been in. And I think if I have any astrologers in the house, I think that Venus changes signs every few months. Do I have that right? Okay, so I'll pick two of these cards from John Holland's deck to get us started. In conflict and despair, stand your ground. Speaking of relationships. Here we go. Mercury's going into Aquarius. Venus is in Pisces. Yeah, but the thing with the thing... Oh, you're right. I got them mixed up. Thank you. I stand corrected. Venus doesn't have like a half moon on the top of the circle. Thank you. I'm glad that you corrected me. Mercury going into Aquarius. Venus is in Pisces. Okay, so that's way different. I'm going to read to you about Venus and Pisces. Maybe you can put in the chat just a few words about Mercury going into Aquarius. Mystic Empress 11, Diane. That would be right after Pisces. Let's see. Venus and Pisces, right? Hang on. Yes. Venus is in Pisces right now. People project themselves as dreamy, soft-hearted partners. I hope it's staying in Pisces for Valentine's Day. That seems like it would be appropriate. Oh no, never hesitate. If I'm getting astrology wrong, never hesitate. I'm not an astrologer. Thank you, Joanne. eBay. Venus in Pisces appreciates romance and poetry. Pisces is the quintessential kind of meditative, floaty kind of a sign. So enjoying romance, tender moments, spiritual connection, that kind of thing. All right. That wasn't the best website, but anyway. Mercury and Aquarius. So I would say that Mercury in Aquarius has to do with communications being shocking and earth-shattering and transformative. Venus and Pisces, boundless love. Well, that's a nice combination. Boundless love, Venus and Pisces. Well, the bottles are falling already outside my window. Venus and Pisces, love everybody, right? And then Mercury and Aquarius, fast-moving energy too. Very strong communication too. Because air signs they tend to be intellectual and very much in their heads. That was my really bad assessment. Yeah, mind and movement, right? Yeah. I know the basics. Yeah, I know the basics. Okay. So, I'm going to pick, so there was stand your ground in conflict and defeat coming up in these cards. We're going to pick two more for the community cards. Okay, we are going through a time of great transformation, which we all know. And we're always going through times of transformation. It's just that the time our souls chose to live in right now, we're all here right now. It's about massive change, massive transformation, massive. Love the roller coaster. Are you referring to the way that it feels? Because it does feel like that. Aquarius is not, it's not a water sign, it's an air sign. Well, ask the astrologer in the chat why Aquarius is the water bearer, but it's an air sign. Because if you haven't studied astrology, I can totally see how you would think that it was the water bearer would be a water sign. That is kind of confusing. So transformation and sacrifice. So we had conflict and defeat and stand your ground. I would say stand your ground in your relationship. If you want more attention in your relationship, I would say, based on the energy I'm picking up on, this is the time. Now is the time. If you're in a relationship and you need more truthfulness, you need it to be different, you need to shake it up, that Venus and Pisces energy will be supportive of that. Because it's loving and flowing in the sign of Pisces. But Mercury in Aquarius would, I just want to say that sometimes it takes what might feel like a harsh or shocking communication to bring you into that loving feeling. Because, sometimes when you tell it like it is, when you tell the truth, even though it's hard, it ends up being better for everybody. Okay, so sacrifice and transformation. We have to understand on the collective level that we lose things as transformations happen, because transformation doesn't come with losing something. Like if you live in a certain place and you need a big change, then you have to sacrifice the place that you're in to go to the new place. A lot of people don't move forward because they just don't want to say goodbye. And I know that what happens in those situations very, very often is if you don't do it when you're getting the signal it's time to move, then the angels just do it for you. And it's more pleasant to go willingly than unwillingly. So that goes for jobs and relationships and that kind of thing. If I turn this off, then I have more. It's more colorful. I'm kind of a sucker for things like this. Anybody else? So I know with the difficulties that we're going through, transformation is coming. Transformation for the good. Lots going on in the political front. I started out by saying I know that you all need to ask me about what that thing was in the sky, but nobody's asked me yet. As far as I can see. And let's take a look. I did ask the pendulum earlier. What I asked the pendulum? Should I wait until you guys, ask me the question? Kicking us out of our comfort zones is like a day at the beach for our angels. Yeah, it's what they do. It's what they do. If you, Marilyn saying having to move and having separation anxiety. Look, I just did a reading for you. You have one of those lights? They're pretty fun. I got it at a little sort of country store in New Hampshire. Nobody asked me about the thing in the sky. There it is. What was that thing in the sky? I got that it didn't have terrestrial origins. How's that? Your grandmother had a huge fiber optic ball she got out every Christmas. Oh, that sounds fun. The question is, what was that thing in the sky? I already read on this. I already asked the pendulum, and I asked if it had a terrestrial origin, and it said no. Sherry, that was last week's question. How's that green comet going to affect us? Well, we can get back into it. Okay. Uranus is always blowing up plans. Life is an adventure, right? Are there going to be more incidents like these last two? Yeah, for those of you who haven't watched the news, I check in on the news all day. Because I do the Psychic News Network, so it's kind of my job. There was a big item at about 40,000 feet. We don't know what it was. And they decided, Joe Biden decided that it was the right call, of course with his military people, that it was the right call to shoot it down, because it was, I like your look, you gotta embrace life or let it run you over. I like the embrace life part. It's not gonna run you over, it's all attitude, right? So they decided to shoot it down because it was a problem, because it was in the commercial flight paths, right? We don't realize it, we don't think about it maybe that much, but there's always, if you look at a map of all the airplanes that are flying all the time, it's almost like a good percentage of the population is not even on the planet because they're in the air flying. So it would have gotten in the way of commercial jets. So they shot it down, but it's very vague what it is, what it is that they shot down and where it came from. And the one today was the one, the Chinese, it's not the same thing, Joanne. It's a different thing. It's not a balloon. So thank you for the wielders of the wrench. I really appreciate it. Be grateful. I'm grateful. It's grateful. Be grateful. I'm grateful. So the one that the Chinese surveillance balloon was the size of 3 buses. Buses are pretty huge. They could just leave us hanging, but we can read about that. The one today that was shot down, I don't know. When you're checking the news all day, you just kind of don't know what you're going to see when you turn it on. I think I'm not alone in that. So I turned it on and they shot this thing down from the sky, and that was the size of a small car. It wasn't a balloon. I haven't heard more news today, but just so you know, if there's a news story and I don't bring it up, it's just because I'm forgetting to bring it up, because there's not much that's in the mainstream news that I miss. Aw, thank you. Be great. Oh, you spell it different. It's grateful with a Y. I see. Maybe GRATE was taken? I don't know if we're going to get the whole... Are we going to get the whole story about what the origin of this is? We're not going to get the whole story. Oh, your last name is Gray. Okay, that makes sense. I like it. We're not going to get the whole story, people. Did it have origins that, I mean, the object that they shot down? Yes, we do need to know everything. Betty's like, we don't need to know everything. I'm like, yes, we do need to know everything. The green laser in Hawaii? I'm lost now. No, Joji, I did not read on pens. We just started. I know it's 17 minutes in, but we really just started. You know, we're just blabbering. The thing in the sky that got shot down by the United States today, did it have terrestrial origins? That's the question I asked earlier. It's from outer space. Groovy later then? Oh yeah. I'll answer your questions. I just if you have a pendulum out there, just I get that it didn't have terrestrial origins. Why do we need to know everything? Because we're very curious beings. I mean, I think we don't really have to know everything, but human beings by nature are curious. And we want to know, you know, and it's a sort of a survival mechanism too, because we want to know what we need to look out for. That's part of it too. Hang on while I fix my tea. I made myself a cup of tea because I knew we'd be here for a while. So, I think it might be from outer space. Sandy's asking, have I seen an ET? You must not watch the Bridge Cape Ann show. We've just talked about that so much. Not with my actual eyes, but with the other eyes. If you know what I mean. I got that it had extraterrestrial origins. Was it made out of some kind of metal? Was it made out of some kind of metal? It was metallic. It was the first thing you thought? Well, that's kind of what I go with. I was a little surprised. I was a little bit surprised that the pendulum said it's made out of metal. It's definitely, I guess it's made out of metal. My pendulum sometimes is so lively. Is it from intelligence from outer space? No. So it wasn't manned by, I guess you wouldn't call like a spaceship something that was manned by aliens because they're not men? Was it occupied by aliens? No, it didn't have terrestrial origins. Try to keep up. I know it's not easy. My first thought was Iran, but then I checked the pendulum and it said it didn't have terrestrial origins. That means it wasn't from Earth. You guys keep asking me questions. I guess you don't understand what terrestrial means. All right, so I guess I have to clarify, huh? Or there's a delay and you didn't hear what I just said. That's more likely. Is the object, that's all we can call it right now. It was Bigfoot. You get the bell. Jabby gets the bell. It was Bigfoot. No, it was not a large drone. I mean, because everybody's throwing things up there. Let me just say that I'm getting that it wasn't from this planet. That its origins were from outer space. And I forgot what it said when I said, was it, I mean, it wasn't man, because it wouldn't be men if it's from outer space, so was it aliened? It was occupied by aliens at some point. It was occupied by aliens. I don't know. I'm just going with what the pendulum says. But I think I should get some cards out. Let's use these cards for that. Was anyone injured? An ET injured? Maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene knows. Maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene knows that it's the source of the space lasers that caught... You get alien too. It was the source of the space lasers that caused the wildfires. Maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene knows. They shot it down, yes. Did it come from a planet that we know about? I doubt it. Let's see. I would say galaxy. Maybe it's the source of the Jewish space lasers. Slow disclosure. We might not know. We might not ever find out, factually. Why did MTGs dress up like a streetwalker for the State of the Union? We can look at that. We definitely can look at that. I'm still on the object. Was it a piece of a spaceship? It was not a piece of a spaceship. Was there intelligence? Was it occupied? Was this thing occupied? It wasn't occupied. She wants attention, all right. How about, what's her name? Kirsten Sinema's. I was watching Midas Touch. Just for a little bit while the State of the Union was on. And you know, people, like what we're doing here. Someone went, what's with the big bird outfit? And I just cracked up. Kirsten Sinema, oh my gosh. Was it occupied? It was occupied. Those of you that are working with pendulums and stuff, wasn't that funny? It was like a big bird outfit cinema. We're on two different topics right now. We're on the item that was that was shot down, and we were getting it had extraterrestrial origins, and we're talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene and space lasers and her outfit, and Cinema's big bird outfit. I'm seeing your Your questions and the ones that pop out that feel like I need to read them, I'll answer. I'm kind of stuck on this topic right now. Is it a fragment of a spaceship? I'm getting it's a piece of a spaceship. That's what I'm getting. Kind of strongly. Kind of strongly. Now let's all just reflect on how not weird this is. Because a spaceship crashed at Roswell, and that's not the only one that did. So for a spaceship to have debris fall off and to be an object, yeah, I got yes about occupants, but not while it was, but not, okay. I'm not picking up, not when it was shot down. There weren't, it was only the size of a small car. I'm getting that it was a piece that broke off a spaceship. Let's pull some cards about that. When people ask me about things like that, like aliens and did they think this and did they think that, I get really stuck on that because I don't feel like they think like we think. And I definitely don't get that they have emotions like we have. So that's very tricky. It's more like it's interesting, isn't it, Sandy? It's a metallic, it's a fragment. It feels like a fragment of a metal ship. That's what it feels like to me. A fragment of a metal ship, a metal spaceship, and it feels like it was an occupied spaceship, but it wasn't. No, it's a fragment. It's not that it's a piece of the. It's not like around here. They used to fish with the big schooners, and the dory boats would leave the big schooner, like the mother schooner and the dories. It's not like that. No, they're not like Spock. That's not what I get. I get that it was a piece of an occupied spaceship that broke off. That's what I get. No, I don't feel like it was. It broke. I feel like it broke off. Not intentionally. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. This is kind of, it's a fun party. We've learned so much new technology from the Roswell spaceship. Exactly. No, Betty. I feel like I keep repeating myself. They weren't, it was from a spaceship that was occupied. And when I say that it was occupied, I'm feeling more like it broke off. The part that it broke off from was occupied. Whereas a ship. Is the ship that lost a piece, is it out there? Is it? Yeah, it's still out there. It's flying around. I told my best friend that she should call in during our show tonight because we can just totally go down the rabbit hole. That's why she's my best friend. Let's see. Is my phone on? Okay. Anyway, by the way, folks, I just want to, because somebody just sent me a message about this. The International Space Station, that's probably where it came off. Broke off like a bumper on a car. That's exactly what it feels like to me. And the ship that it broke off of is still out there. All right, I'm going to get to this in a second because I picked up my phone. It just reminded me to tell you this. Totally unrelated topic. Today I received, apparently somebody's email that I had in my contacts who had emailed me before. It was a job that it was a church job that I had. Anyway, I knew her from that. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, I got an email that said, "Hi, it's so-and-so," and like somebody that I know. And I just tried to buy something for my friend's birthday today on Amazon. My card got declined. Can you help me? It was something like that. We'll get back to the spaceship story in a second. I just want to warn everybody that some hackers are sending out emails to people that say that get your friend to email you without them knowing. They're emailing you and you're getting this message that they need you to help them out by buying a gift card on Amazon for somebody because they needed it right away for a birthday gift. Did that make sense? It's more than spam. It's a scam. Spam is like when you have junk mail email. No, this is a scam. So there's a scam out there where if somebody can get access to somebody's email address, they can get access to their contacts. And that's what happened to this person. It's a scam. It's a hacker scam. And what happened was I received this email. I hadn't heard from this person in a very long time, a couple of years. And it was odd. And at first I was like, well, that's strange that she would need me to help her out with this. And then when I really looked further, it was like, this is, you can always tell by the bad grammar, right? But anyway, she was just texting me to say thank you for being vigilant, because I let her know, you've been hacked. I don't want anybody to get sucked into that. I could see how somebody who's in a hurry and didn't really read it carefully would be like, yeah, I'll help my friend, and then all of a sudden they have your information. Yeah, the thing is, what could throw you is if it's somebody, if you get this email from somebody that you totally trust and would totally help. So, meanwhile, back in the spaceship land, the universe card, so that it came from somewhere out in the universe. It's our destiny. It's our destiny. Yeah, the bad grammar gave it away. The bad grammar gives the scammers and the hackers away. So, the spaceship, I got the universe card. Now we're just saying it was a piece of a spaceship that broke off. Yeah, it was a new one to me too. That scam was a new one to me. But it wasn't me that got hacked, it was her that got hacked. Okay. Oh, the transformation, what I was talking about earlier, at the start of tonight, we were seeing that sacrifice and transformation, they kind of go hand in hand. Crown chakra. Okay. These John Holland cards are like, they just spell it out, even more than the tarot cards. Maybe we'll use them more tonight. It was, the source of that object was from outer space. Even if they don't tell us that, I don't think we're going to be told that. I mean, they tested the waters with giving us the information about extraterrestrials, what the government knows. They scratched the surface, and I got that they just kind of decided it wasn't going to be a safe thing to do to tell the rest of the American people repeatedly that we're being visited by intelligence from other planets, other universes. But these cards are spelling it right out. Yeah, we'll never be told the truth. If the source is from outer space, I do use a VPN. Everyone use a VPN so you don't get hacked. I do feel like we already know that we're being visited. We know that we're being visited. And there are a lot of hysterical people out there. Exactly. I mean, look at what happened. Case in point. Look at what happened when the Chinese spy balloon. I couldn't even believe. Well, no, I could believe it. What do we always say? It's surprising, but not shocking, but not surprising. With the Chinese surveillance balloon that was attempting to steal our information. You know, my conclusion to all this is, we all just need to learn how to get along, so we don't have to worry about that stuff. So, I'm going to actually pull this closer to see if maybe I can get away with not using my glasses. Yeah, hit the thumbs up. Thank you. Much appreciated. We're going to all have to learn how to get along. Anyway, so when the Chinese surveillance balloon was up there, just speaking of, I mean, people aren't advanced enough on this planet to handle the whole alien thing. Think about it, right? And the Republicans, I don't even have to name names because you know exactly who I'm talking about. They're out there, they're going, well, and they posted pictures online of them with an AR-15 shooting, like they're going to shoot down the balloon. I'm like, are you kidding me? You saw 3 ships and 1 alien. Oh, sunshine. Wow, that's interesting. Did we ever talk about that, you and I? Possibly. Yeah, so here's the thing. Boy, we should do a whole show on aliens, right? You said I've been visiting me since I was a child. That just sounds funny. I'm sure it's a typo. Disclosure was great. Oh, okay, I haven't seen that movie. Yeah. If the government told us all, definitely, there are aliens and they're flying around and they land here and they land there and they leave their spaceships and they visit people. If the government told us that, people would freak out. They couldn't even handle the Chinese surveillance balloon without saying that they're going to shoot it down recklessly, right? I mean, it's really bad that happened. It's really good that Joe Biden and the administration are intelligent people, did the right thing, waited till it went out into the Atlantic, right offshore here, a little further south, and they were able to find out what was in it. Now, what the funny thing about that, to me, is that on Wednesday night, when people were asking about the Chinese surveillance balloon, I was talking about it, and midstream, I was like, it's kind of like the aliens, when the alien spaceships crash and we get all their intelligence. And I was like, what am I talking about? Right? Yeah, when War of the Worlds was on the radio and Mass Panic and full disclosure, speaking of a movie called Disclosure, I'm terrified by aliens. I mean, who knows? Like, maybe I've seen them. Like, people are asking. I have a new podcast. We're still getting warmed up with the podcast, but I could do a show on Spirit Talk podcast. I'll keep you posted about that. But remember when Whitley Strieber came out with the book Communion? I thought that was really scary. And the reason that people are afraid is because they've done experiments on humans. Do you guys remember Whitley Strieber? The book Communion, and then there was a movie. And it scared the heck out of me. They're not all, they're not all like warm and fuzzy. They're not warm and fuzzy at all, the aliens. 37 minutes in, I've only been talking about that. Outer space stuff. Let's get more down to earth and grounded. You read them all? You mean you read the books about alien visitations? You love the movie Communion? That didn't scare you? The reason that people are afraid of aliens is because they've conducted painful experiments on humans. Right? You read all of Whitley Strieber's books. Okay, tweet Scotchy. Yeah, I forget what the second one was called. You didn't see the movie. You didn't seek. You didn't. You asked not to be kidnapped. I don't know. Do you have a choice? Yeah, well, the abduction stuff you have to take with a grain of salt, but some of those stories are very true. Betty and Bert, was it right up here in Exeter, New Hampshire? They were abducted. That story scared the heck out of me. Exeter is just a hop and a skip away from where I am. And there's an area where I live that I just know. Barney. Oh, it was Barney and Bet. Wait. Now I'm thinking Flintstones. Was it Betty and Barney? Like the Flintstones? Yes, we do have soul contracts, and I was feeling like Whitley Strieber had a soul. Betty and Barney Hill. Aren't those the names of for people in Flintstones? The cartoon? I'm attempting to change topics, but I'm not having much success. Meanwhile, I think I'll ring a bell. I'm ringing a bell. Meanwhile, back in the land of politics, Jack Smith is going for it. Jack Smith is going for it. Yeah, Barney's last name was Rubble, but wasn't it Betty and Barney? The husband and wife in the Flintstones in the cartoon? We're switching gears. Meanwhile, Pence got served. Thank you, Joji. Meanwhile, Pence got served. Jack Smith he's almost ready. We're not going to roast the Marshmallow Man yet. We'll get to it. I stay on for 90 minutes on our Friday night lives. And on Monday, too. TGIF. Oh, before I read about this, send them all to the cornfield, Jack. Yeah. Before I read about this, I just want to give you a heads up. I have a class tomorrow, and it's not too late to sign up. And the class is based on the work of Louise Hay, and it's called Let Yourself Love Yourself. Go to psychicannetdion.com. Sign up for that class. It's going to be awesome tomorrow. First, we're going to see how Trump is doing. I think TGIF is a funny saying because, like, not everybody doesn't work on the weekends, right? For some of us, it's TGIS Sunday. How Donald Trump is doing. Oh, he's really, really in a negative place. Thanks, Terry. How can you beat my class about Louise Hay's work? Because, you know, Valentine's Day is Tuesday and we all need to learn how to love ourselves. Right? Valentine's Day is Tuesday. We all need to learn how to love ourselves. That doesn't mean that you're, you know, you can be in a relationship and still need to learn how to love yourself, right? This is about Trump. So the devil card is telling me how much self-deception he's in. Trump is in a lot of self-deception. I guess that he's needing to do that in order to kind of survive the stress that he's under. I'm not sure if he's still telling himself that he's president, but I think that he is. And I think that all the things that Trump writes, the reason he writes so much on Truth Social, like, I mean, he tweeted that much too. I mean, remember when Trump would just be, you'd be wondering what he tweeted overnight when he was president, which I don't, you know, I never considered him the legit president. So what Trump is doing is every time he writes this long diatribe on his social network, like Autumn at Black and Orange on her channel, she calls it Truth Social, because it's not truth. And when I get this sense with this card that whenever he writes this big, long, these paragraphs that are just word salads, they don't make any sense, but they're very, you know, he's very grievance ridden and, you know, victim. It kind of gets him into this mindset that he's president. He just criticized Rihanna. He is a lowlife of all lowlifes. In the dictionary someday, in Wikipedia, whatever, however people look things up, next to Trump, it's going to say the lowest life ever to occupy the world of politics. Anyway, we will be celebrating because it looks like his self-deception is coming to an end, and he's going to be having a tough time making a journey away from this difficulty. He's trying to get away, but we're celebrating here. We are celebrating. Like, didn't you feel good when you found out that Pence got subpoenaed? And I do think that Pence, I actually do think, and we'll ask the pendulum about this, did Pence ask to be subpoenaed? The reason I'm asking that is because I think that Pence wanted it to look like he was forced into doing his civic duty, because when the January 6th committee asked him to come in and answer questions, he refused But Jack Smith is on a roll, Warren. I agree. I'm feeling the flames. I'm feeling the fire burning higher. Feeling the fire burning higher. I should write a song about it. Feeling the Jack Smith, the DOJ fire burning higher. Trump will submit DNA. Oh, did that just happen? That E. Jean Carroll cases, that's pretty bad. He doesn't want treatment. Wait, I'm a little lost. Started talking and I lost track of what you guys are talking about. So Pence, I think, wanted to be subpoenaed rather than volunteer to answer questions for the January 6th committee, because it would have been safer for him to say no when he could say no. When it comes to the crazy, the base. Which, I mean, whatever you think of Mike Pence, you could see why he wouldn't want to voluntarily go answer questions for the January 6th commission, because of the base. They tried to assassinate him. And it boggles my brain when I think, and probably yours too, when I think about the fact that Donald Trump wanted him assassinated, and he was just like somebody didn't give him a hamburger or something. I mean, he just treated it like oh, it's okay that he tried to get me assassinated. Was Mike Pence? Did Mike Pence ask for that subpoena? Yeah, he asked for that subpoena. He asked for that subpoena. I get that April's going to be the fireworks. I know, I've heard a lot of people saying in March there's going to be a lot of fireworks in terms of the DOJ and indictments and subpoenas. I get more April. It'll be heating up quite a bit in March. By the way, and we will start looking a little bit too at what the heck is going on with Russia and Ukraine. I think Putin is dead. And actually, on Bridge Cape Ann, Corey and I have that show every single Wednesday on Bridge Cape Ann, the Psychic and the Sidekick. And we have a friend who's from Ukraine. Fortunately, she was able to bring her family back here, so they're safe. It took a while. But I guess Corey interviewed Svetlana, our friend from Ukraine, who lives in this area. And she had said that it's well known that Putin has a lot of body doubles. So I really do think that Putin's dead. And that we're just dealing with his cohorts. What did Trump say about Rihanna? I didn't hear that. Let's see. Jack Smith. We're just going to pull 3 cards about Jack Smith. Yeah, so Pence was acting like I don't have to answer questions with the January 6th committee, but he did want a subpoena in order to tell his side of the story. And then it would look like he had no choice, he had to obey the law. And, not for anything, but if he's actually running for president of the United States and he's not interested in helping to defend the United States of America, it looks really bad. I mean, you gotta do the right thing, right? That's like beyond civic duty. It's triple civic duty that he has. I mean, just being in the position that he was in. He knows a lot. Then why did he write his book? I'm not seeing how that's relevant to what I'm talking about. Jack Smith. The light has been shown on all the crimes. He said she is nothing without her stylist. Trump is a low life. Yeah, I think things will start heating up in terms of our legal system and subpoenas and indictments and everything, things will be heating up. They already are heating up. I mean, with Jack Smith, this is what I get. I mean, I really do feel like he's like, you guys might not remember, but about a month ago maybe, I had this image, or when Jack Smith was appointed to the special counsel, I had this image of Jack Smith at a desk and all the criminals lined up like little soldiers. Remember those soldiers that you used to play with when you were little? Anyway, you know, those little green soldiers. Anyway, those plastic things. I just felt like I had this image of Jack Smith, and they're lined up in front of him on a desk, and he was just kind of studying and then looking up and going, ping, and then studying. Okay, ping, like just that's how the guides gave it to me. Just ping. At the risk of doing the thing that Trump does. Ding, 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 ding. Anyway, it's Friday. It's time for indictments. It is time for indictments. So, they're coming. I know I just showed you one card there because I was blabbering. But the other card was the Nine of Pentacles. I don't know. I just got the whole story from the Sun. I still get April. Something huge is coming in April, and maybe that's when Trump will... I'm glad you're learning something. I mean, a lot of people learn the news from the psychics on YouTube. There goes Warren. I was just about to tell you, but I might hold back. Warren, why do you have to know exactly when? You're just messing with me, right? No, I'm not answering that. George Santos latest, he was charged with theft in 2016. We didn't see George Santos being in his seat for very long. I mean, I think it was like 7 weeks maybe. Let's ask we will ask how long. Yeah. We're going to be getting lots of, you know, drip, drip, drip information about who's going to be indicted and what the DOJ is doing. Did you hear that, Warren? Moonchild thinks you're running a booking operation taking bets. That's a good one. Is George Santos... Will George Santos be removed this coming week? No. Oh, this dark entity is protecting all these dudes. Taking bets for Grassroots of Democracy. Grassroots of Democracy, our organization that meets twice a week, every week. 3 times a week if you include our meditation for a healed America. We have our own website now. We have a separate website, grassrootsofdemocracy.com. Please sign up. Will George Santos be there next week? Oh, well, that's interesting. I don't think he's going to be there next week. I think, yes, Warren says Grassroots of Democracy is phenomenal. You should all sign up. We're going to be big. Let's see. Are the citizens going to take George Santos out of his seat? Yeah, this looks like a citizen-run movement. More than, not that the DOJ and Brazil aren't coming for him, but I'm really getting, this is going to be a situation where you go, oh wow, power to the people, they removed George Santos. That's what I'm seeing there. I'll pick 3 cards about Santos. Yeah, I know the FBI did another search. They only got 1 document, I think. From my pendulum to God's ears about Santos, well, he's not staying. He's definitely not staying. It's unbelievable that he's still there. But we see a lot of that nowadays, right? George Santos. The man is not okay. Yeah, the people in Queens are they're gonna be the ones that unseat him. Yeah, it's going to be the people. It's going to be that the people of New York they just are persistent. They keep screaming. They keep yelling. They're like, we're not having this. This is not okay. Listen to what Mitt Romney said. You know, like this is going to switch. And there's a lot of Democrats. I know the Democrats are making their case for getting him removed. No, he's not going to have a vote on leaving. You don't understand the archive people and letting all the documents. You know, there was a time, Mr. Green, when people were honest, there was a time where this would happen and it wouldn't be a big deal. People got lax. He's talking about the documents. But I did feel like Mike Pence was given secret documents by Donald Trump. I did pick that up. We all know this is for entertainment purposes only, right? Love and light to John Fetterman. Did something happen to him? I think he was feeling dizzy. John Fetterman was feeling dizzy. Yeah, Trump changed the whole decorum thing, the whole decency thing in this country. Let's face it. The United States of America was founded on the premise that people would act in a decent way, and you know, we've seen many signs that wasn't probably the wisest thing. What happened to John Fetterman? You're all like worried about Fetterman. I know that no, I didn't know that about Autumn. I haven't watched her lately. Yeah, that happened a few days ago, right? He felt lightheaded and went to the hospital. I'm not seeing like anything dire there. Okay, let's see. Where are we? He was released from the hospital. Yeah, well, you know, if you feel lightheaded, it ended up he was dehydrated. You know, lightheadedness can come from a lot of things. I think John Fetterman is one of these people that he's got so much going on in his head all the time that he probably forgets to drink water. And a lot of men, more than women, I think, forget to drink water. I think that's really... I'm grossly generalizing. What am I talking about? Oh, Santos. It's going to get very emotional. He's very... I mean, it doesn't take a psychic. He's emotionally extremely unstable. He has extreme mental health issues. And he shouldn't be in that seat. Yeah, he's the money is going to be the deciding factor. The campaign funds are going to be the deciding factor about Santos. Not that all the other things don't count, because they do, but it's the money. In terms of black and white, you know, look where this money came from. It came from Russia, by the way. Yeah, and off he goes. He gets his marching orders. Thank you for wielding the wrench. Be grateful. So, yeah. And Jamie Raskin, man, just listening to Jamie Raskin recently, and he's wearing a bandana because he's undergoing chemo. I don't feel like Jamie Raskin's going to leave us anytime soon, just so you know. So, Joe G is saying it's amazing that Mitt Romney spoke to George Santos at the State of the Union. What was amazing to me was that he was the only one. I mean, really, if you were in the position, if you were there, if you were a representative and you were there at the State of the Union, wouldn't you think more people would say something to George Santos? It just boggles my brain that more people aren't calling him out. Honestly, I mean, the reporters do what they can, but jeez, it's really unbelievable. Yeah, so Jamie Raskin is rocking that blue bandana and the mask. Jamie Raskin lost his son. Jamie Raskin, you know, then endured a few days later after his son's suicide and funeral. The poor, you can't even imagine. January 6th happened. The trauma from that, and then he just goes right to work saving democracy. I don't need to read on John Fetterman's health because he's fine and he was dehydrated. Yeah, Dan Goldman. What's really beautiful to see, I mean, let's just look at the reality. When the pressure is on and our feet are to the fire and something really urgent needs to be done, that's when people get really clear-headed and really loud and really definitive in the way that they speak. So Jamie Raskin, Goldman, was it Connolly, that representative the other night that basically I almost said basically, he did. This is literal. Basically, Connolly read Matt Gaetz' The Riot Act, kind of like literally. So just so you all know, the fascists that are calling themselves Republicans instead of fascist, that are seated right now in Congress, they cannot hold a candle to the IQs and the level of experience and just being able to think on their feet and the brilliance of the Democrats. They can't hold a candle to it. So just so you know, we have that going for us. All right. You know which deck I misplaced was the Cosmic Tarot, and I kind of really miss it. So I'm going to have to go around my office with my pendulum and see if I can find it. But in the meantime, we'll just use the traditional tarot. I do see that, and let's appreciate these things. We're seeing these fascists that call themselves Republicans fall flat on their face, and it's only just begun. They need to have an IQ test to run for office. I mean, all you need, this has to change. A lot of things will be changing. If we're woke, is Sarah Huckabee Sanders in a coma? You said comma. We have new shirts coming that say woke, and the acronym is We Offer Kind Energy. I'll keep you posted. We're also going to start a Grassroots of Democracy podcast type thing. Stay tuned. Lots of things coming up. Yeah, like Sarah Huckabee Sanders, they really need to take an IQ test and a civics test to run for office, not just get enough signatures of people that would support them. GEDs don't, GODs, Grassroots of Democracy, GEDs don't qualify you for Congress? Is that true? Oh, thank you, Melissa. Oh, I can't even think that far ahead. Brian, who's asking, do I think that Joe will ask Garland to stay on for the next 2 years? What I would surmise is that he would leave it totally up to Merrick Garland. Totally up to Merrick Garland. So anyway, to run for public office, you need to have signatures, right? But you really should have to take a test. And I don't know what the law is. I know Bo Burgess has a GED. It shows, and that's not saying anything mean about people with GEDs. It just shows that she didn't educate herself. Background checks for public servants, absolutely. So let's read on that. There is no test in Texas for what? Civics? Fixing my table here, hang on. There's no test for civics? In the first 100 years of our democracy, most congressmen were farmers. Yeah. But they educated themselves. Yeah, you can go to college with a GED, but you have to know something to run for office, and character should matter. And they should have background checks. And all their, criminals, all the crimes they've committed should be really just out there. Wildflower Wind, people are so cruel, but we don't think of those, we don't think of people that way here. What I mean by that is most people are good people. That's all. I know some people are so cruel is more accurate. Because there are a lot of really good people. Okay. Yeah, they just need money. Patty's saying they just need money. They don't need to pass a test, and that it shouldn't be that way. Anyway, sorry about the glasses. Because I know the light reflects and it's annoying. I'll just see if I can see. All right, I spent a lot of time on the broken off piece of the spaceship news tonight, so now we've got a lot more to go over. The 10% of your district is signing in dollars. Let's read some cards about Marjorie. I mean, it would be really hilarious if it wasn't so serious. Really? They don't bother you? All that reflection? Okay, thank you. Thank you for that feedback. Marjorie Taylor Greene. What a mess. What a mess. I do see the Marjorie Taylor Greene and the Lauren Boeberts and the Matt Gaetz and the Jim Jordans and the Comer. Thus far. There's a law that forbids requiring tests for running for office. That needs to change. Times are different. That needs to change. You have to have deductive reasoning and critical thinking skills. I mean, let's just face it. Some people have it, some people have to work at it, and some people don't have it at all. But there's hope for everybody. But they have no desire to learn. Their only desire that they have is to grandstand. It's really awful. Marjorie Taylor Greene. There's a turn of Marjorie Taylor Greene's fortune. The Emperor, I got this card about her the other night, and I feel like Joe Biden has had it with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I really do. And Joe Biden is a Scorpio, and somebody alerted me to that Joe Biden is not just a Scorpio. He's got a bunch of Scorpio in his chart. One of these Fridays I'll get an astrologer to come on with me if I can figure that out. That might have to happen on a Wednesday. Just to figure out the technology. Corey could do that. Anyway, the Emperor, I feel like Joe Biden has had it with Marjorie Taylor Greene. And she is between a rock and a hard place. Yeah, but not only is Joe Biden a Scorpio, but he's got a lot of planets in Scorpio. And you totally saw that at work at the State of the Union. Totally. Joe Biden was being such a Scorpio during that State of the Union. It was great. Oh yeah, Ward from Maine made the earrings. Are you still selling the earrings? Made from sea glass. Most professionals have to take a state board test and then a national test in their field. Politicians should be no different. They have our lives in their hands. Shelby Lisa says, and I totally agree. And if we want that to be the case, and they need drug testing, I like that. And if we totally want that to be the case, I mean, I want everybody to pay attention to what the citizens of New York are doing about George Santos. Because they formed a whole entourage of people, and there are people going by bus to DC from New York. I mean, they are on it. And when they do that, and they play a big role in getting George Santos kicked out of his seat that he's illegitimately in, as are a lot of them. But he's the worst case right now. We will see. We need practice in this. We need to see the results of our activism. But our activism has been very spotty and very sparse or non-existent. we can request, we can just speak out and protest and call for bills and legislation that people cannot run for office without being qualified by A, B, not having a criminal history, and B, having intelligence, I mean brains, and C, knowing the Constitution and knowing civics. Is that too much to ask? I think not. Marjorie Taylor Greene is between a rock and a hard place, and I've been really picking that up from her. What she has in common with Donald Trump is what I saw earlier when I saw the devil card for Donald Trump, and was picking up that when he's engaged in doing his truth social, you know, what the nonsense that he puts on his social media pages, when he's all in that, he really thinks he's president. When Marjorie Taylor Greene is in her seat spewing ridiculous craziness and heckling the president at the State of the Union, when she's doing that, she's all in. And decorum and decency and, I don't know, niceness, manners. She doesn't have any manners. But anyway, that goes all out the window because she becomes completely absorbed in this persona that she thinks she's presenting to the world. And Donald Trump is the same way. Anyway, she's between a rock and a hard place because when Marjorie Taylor Greene is alone with her thoughts, which is a scary thought, she realizes that she is the facts are Marjorie Taylor Greene is in big trouble. They have evidence on her. Do you remember the little video clip of her January 5th coming down the stairs of the Capitol, I believe it was, and she said, I just came from a meeting and tomorrow's going to be 1776. There's so much more evidence than that. 45 did this country a great favor. This country will get back to the basics of the founding fathers, and we'll fix the things that need to be fixed so that 1/6 never ever happens again, which is the absolute download that I got about Donald Trump and the reason for him, which I typed up in an email and I sent to people who requested it. I was on Facebook at the time, but the guides gave me this download and I don't even have it anymore. But that's pretty much what it said in a nutshell. Because people kept asking me, why Donald Trump? Why Donald Trump? Well, why is because our democracy was on its last leg. And it's still on stilts. You know what I'm saying? But that is, from a cosmic standpoint, that was a reason for Donald Trump. Remember the cards I started with tonight? Sacrifice and transformation side by side. Have we had to sacrifice? Yeah, we've had to sacrifice a lot. We've had to sacrifice our sense of security and stability and well-being. And we had to sacrifice our laziness too. But that's part of the transformation. So John B is saying, exactly, Warren, that's exactly what I got about Donald Trump. He's forced us to look at a really broken system. He's an agent of change without realizing that ultimately, send him a thank you card afterwards. And now that's enlightenment. When you get to a point where you thank your enemies for waking you up to what you really needed to focus on, that can be a blessing in disguise. Just learned that Fetterman was released from the hospital. I got that he was okay, so I wasn't worried at all. I don't worry anyhow. Have I shown you my mug? Maybe I'll drink out of this mug. Hang on. I'm just switching cups. Too blessed to be stressed. Rose, you tuned in just in time to see my mug. It's all good. The darkest hour is right before the dawn. Speaking of that, let's take a look at Ukraine. I want you to know that I don't get any sense at all that Vladimir Putin is alive. And I was saying earlier that our friend Svetlana, Corey and I have a friend from Ukraine, and she said yeah, you gotta have a good happy mug. I got a bunch of them. Too blessed to be stressed. It's commonly known in Europe that Putin has a lot of doubles. That's another find from Marshall's, also known as TJ Maxx. So I'm gonna look at 3 cards. I know whenever I think about what's going on in Russia right now, it's totally rogue. It's totally rogue. They're just bashing away. And they have lost, I think the latest figure I heard was that Russia has lost 200,000 soldiers. Yeah, isn't it good? I don't know. When you go to stores like that, these are like the overstock or the leftovers. So I don't know if you can get one of these. We're not here to judge each other, but to love each other. Yes, true. I'm wondering if that was in reference to something. So it's really unbelievable how, 200,000 Russian soldiers, and whoever's in charge now, which would be Putin's cohorts, they're trying to keep up the appearance that they're still, I don't know, they're not organized, so I don't know what kind of appearance, that they're really determined. It's too much for my bandwidth and yours too, to think about how one man's insanity can create that much pain. As in reference to our enemies, you don't have to let them slap you, but you can't really stop them. Still confused. You can stop them though, right? Oh, did I ever get any vibes from Officer Sicknick? I never really tuned in. One of the Capitol Police officers that lost his life. It was so sad. I remember the funeral and the at the Capitol. I do feel like there are certain souls that pass that their soul, they didn't know obviously, but their soul knew that their passing was gonna make the sacrifice and the transformation cards that I got earlier. It's okay. It's okay, Fireside Psychic. You can be confusing if you want. It's no problem. But as far as the Russia, Russia's just going to keep hammering away. I'm just going to say Russia now because Putin's dead. But the world is going to end up stronger than Russia, and that this is an end. This is an end. Sorry about losing people to COVID. That's just unbearable pain. But why does the light need to get in the first place? We need us a universe, and so we all came up with, Hey, attend Church of Spirituality every Sunday. It's awesome. We talk about all that stuff. And the 20 on Tuesdays. This past Tuesday, our meditation for a healed America. I talked about this last night at Grassroots of Democracy. The meditation for a healed America that we did just right before the State of the Union, because we ended at 7:30 Eastern time. The State of the Union took forever to start, but anyway, we did a powerful group meditation. I don't have to tell you the details. We just suffice it to say we did a very powerful. I just channel these meditations. We did a very powerful meditation having to do with kind of setting the vibe for the State of the Union. And boy, when Joe Biden started, when I heard the news anchors going, wow, we didn't see that coming, like Joe Biden just let him have it and tricked them into applauding for keeping Social Security and Medicare. It was like, wow. Not that I don't think that this stuff works, but it's nice to see evidence. Yeah, we were lifted to another dimension. I'm humbled by the gift, believe me. If you want to join us on Tuesdays, go to psychicandetdion.com and there's a place to sign up to get the email. As far as Russia goes, it does look like this is going to end. I have for months now been saying I felt like, late January early February the war was going to end. Yeah, the meditation was really powerful. And that's what we do. We focus on a healed America. And we also do a prayer every Sunday at Church of Spirituality and again on Tuesday, affirming a healed America. So, thank you, Sandy. Sandy says it's the best time she spends all week. That's awesome. So, it is going to come to an end. Just the manner in which they're fighting now is so disorganized. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. And whoever's in charge is just flexing their muscles. And I just see chaos. I see scrambling chaos when I look at Russia doesn't know what they're doing. Honestly. It's like they have no generals. Okay. I'm kind of moving slow tonight. I'm talking too much. But maybe we'll go a little bit longer. Thank you for thanking me for my gift. Let's look at Matt Gaetz, shall we? It's so fun to have you at my Friday night party. Friday Night Live. Matt Gaetz. You went to church today? Oh, you watched Church of Spirituality. Yeah, watch. If you need upliftment, watch Church of Spirituality. The theme for the month of February is intimate God love. And the sermon this week, you got to show up to find out. Matt Gaetz. This is heartbreak and disappointment for Matt Gaetz. Oh, it's funny, Sandy, because we said it at the same time. I'm like, Matt Gaetz, boy, he's not doing too good. Party time, Friday Night Live. Because Matt Gaetz is, what's being found out about Matt Gaetz is how criminal he is, and how much, for some reason what's coming up is how much he's stolen. I feel like that's more like, not like stolen money as much, I feel like this is more like how much he's tried to get away with. And Matt Gaetz is beginning to plan his defense, but it's not going to work. His butt's on. Yeah, Matt Gaetz. There's something coming from Matt Gaetz. There's been behind the scenes stuff. You know how we have to wait and wait and wait. We're like, why isn't he in jail yet? Why isn't Trump? There's so much stuff brewing behind the scenes to get Matt Gaetz. I think he's going to lose his seat. Is the DOJ coming for Matt Gaetz? I'm not asking when, Warren. Is the DOJ coming for Matt Gaetz? The DOJ is coming for Matt Gaetz. Let's ask about that too. Yeah, that's a big yes, that the DOJ is coming for Matt Gaetz. Is the DOJ coming for Jim Jordan? I'm getting yes on that, Terry, and Jim Jordan too. And I mean, the pendulum does this. When it's a really big yes, the pendulum it gets kind of revved up. It's like, let's really show you what's going to happen, right? Jim Jordan too. Yes. Well, I'm going to pull cards about Jim Jordan just for fun, since they're here. I'm really feeling the masks that they're wearing. I don't mean like the masks, the COVID masks. I'm really feeling like that it's like they're putting on a fake face and a costume, and they're pretending that they're confident. That's what I'm picking up with all of them. Let's look at Lauren Boebert. Please hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. I know that people that say that on their videos get a lot of thumbs up. And please subscribe if you haven't already. My numbers are at a plateau. Not that it's about the numbers, but you know what I mean. Okay. Actually, let's read on Comer first. Patty, that's why I started this to give people, because I just felt that people needed a psychic to guide them through. And there are so many other great psychics too. But here's the thing, and I want to just mention this, because I want you all to hear this. There's something that you do that you're really good at that can make a difference. So you all know what that is, right? If you don't know what that is, you can get a reading and we'll delve into it. Or take some of my classes and we'll delve into it. We all have something that we do that's helpful to the collective. So if you know that it's needed, do it. That's why the psychics on YouTube are doing it. I mean, you know, the ones that are coming from the heart, and I don't see any that aren't coming from the heart. I haven't seen any psychics on YouTube that aren't coming from a really good place. Yeah, we really need the activism too. Yeah. And just so you know, because I'm being all chatty and I'm probably going to go over the usual time that I do. I'm going to start a Grassroots of Democracy podcast also. And my numbers will go up if people hit the thumbs up. I see what you're saying. And what my idea that I had today was on my podcast, I want to have regular Americans talking about their journey and their experiences in America. You know, like regular people talking about their lives. Ah, thank you, Fireside Psychic. Okay. Comer. I wanted that dude Comer. You know, the one that... Have you seen a dark tarot reader? I don't know how a dark tarot reader could make it on YouTube. Well, that's probably really naive of me to say that. Comer is the one that stood up there before they all got sworn in. Excuse me, and I'm having resistance to Comer because I'm sneezing. He got up there and he was like, the reporters are asking them, what's the plan that the Republicans have for when they have the majority? And Comer was the one that just went, a dark tarot reader is an oxymoron. Right. And he got up there and he went, because the reporters were trying to ask him about what the Republicans had planned for their constituents, to serve their constituents, and he just kept saying, well, we really want to talk about Hunter Biden. What is, no, right-wing tarot, is that, are you just saying that, or is that a thing? Oh my gosh. On the back channels. There are dark psychics on the back channels. I don't know what the back channel is. Sounds bad. This sounds pretty bad. Well, we're all intuitive. You know who you want to listen to, right? Oh yeah, there's definitely a lot more light. I do want to address that. I really got a strong guidance not long ago that said, to the degree that we have darkness, to the degree that we can amp up the light. That was another channel's message that I can't find. AOC put Marjorie Taylor Greene in her place about the laptop. We get really great video clips of the Democrats they have it all pent up from January 6th, right? They're just letting them have it. And they know that those fascists have no business being in their seats. You know, a lot of those, what sounds like, a lot of those Democrats in their seats, they worked very hard to get where they are. Very hard to get where they are. Rendezvous, absolutely. It boggles your mind how Hunter Biden in trouble is going to save our country. They have no plans. They have these fascists have no plans for helping America. Their only plans are how to destroy America. Let's just be real. You should have written a book about it. They could have avoided January